Hello, beautiful soul, and welcome to the fifth episode of Kiana's podcast, or the second episode of the Grow and Glow podcast. My name is Kiana van Deurse, and I am, as always, your host. And today we will definitely be talking about something really, really interesting. But before we move on with this episode, I do want to mention that in the previous one, previous episode being the fourth episode of Kiana's podcast, the first episode of the Grow and Glow podcast, I talked a little bit more about why exactly I named this podcast the Grow and Glow podcast. So if you are interested in finding out why you're listening to the Grow and Glow podcast now, then definitely make sure to check out the previous episode that I shot because we dive a little bit deeper on the whole why behind the story. And I think that when you actively start listening to a podcast and you get to know your host, it also is important to know where the name comes from. So if you do want to watch it, if you are interested, then definitely check out episode 4 of Kiana's or episode 1 of the Grow and Glow podcast. But for now, I will promise you that I'm not going to mention the name again. So yeah, let's kick it off for today. Now, as you can see, this is not my usual surrounding at all. I'm currently with my family in Belgium. Yes, I'm Belgian originally, and yeah, I just want to hop on a few topics here that I've definitely experienced in the last couple of weeks being here, because in total over time, I've been here since the beginning of April 2025, and now we're nearly end of April, so it's been 3.5 weeks that I've already been here, and there are just a few topics: lifestyle, fitness, mental health, that I want to touch base on. Because if you've been following me for a longer time already, or if you follow me on Instagram, then you probably know that I often talk about the 80-20 balance, right? 80% of the things that we do should be things that are working towards our goals, working towards our vision, should be good for our body, should be good for our soul. And 20% of the time, life also wants to be lived. And I usually very strongly live by that balance, because I do not believe in going full force. I do not believe in going full throttle, because it's just a little bit much. This beautiful life that we are given also wants to be lived and not just 100% controlled. And I think that when you plan too much and that when you go full force all the time, you will definitely get into a burnout. I mean, I've been there, right? I've been there, especially when having strict protocols for my body, for example, or when going into a cut for a longer time. In a cut, it's still a little bit different though, because in a cut, when I go into a cut, meaning into a fat loss phase, I do have my chocolate. I do have my kebab or my pizza every now and then. Because, as I said, I strongly believe that if you go full throttle, you will get into a burnout. And that's exactly what we want to avoid. It's also what I want to avoid with my clients, because everybody's always like, wow, Kiana, I can really still eat that, or I can still really have a drink. Well, yeah, you can. If you put all of that in your 20% rather than into your 80%, then why not? Life wants to be lived. Life is way too short to just plan around and forget to actually live. So 80-20 is my philosophy, is my balance, and that's also what I try to bring to my clients. Now, why am I talking about this so elaborately here? Is basically because I noticed that since I'm in Belgium, or that since I'm here with my parents, that 80-20 turned a little bit more into a 70-30. And I'm not even mad about it. I mean, I think 80-20 is a very good balance. I'm convinced that by doing what is good for you and what is going towards your dreams, towards your goals, towards what you want to achieve in life, when you do that 80% of the time, I think that's fairly good. And 20% enjoyment. I mean, if you're working towards your vision, that enjoyment should also be in an 80%. So I personally am convinced that that is a fairly good philosophy. However, yeah, as I said, 70-30 is a little bit different. It's not a huge difference, but I do notice it. I do notice that I get less to-dos done here. I do notice that I eat off plan a little bit more here. Because, hey, then we go for a quick snack, or I go for a breakfast with my dad. Or my mom prepares some delicious lunch, or my parents both like, oh, Kiana, let's go for dinner. Or my grandmother organizes a barbecue. Or some of my friends organize an afternoon in their garden. And as I said, I'm not even mad about it. I'm happy to experience those wonderful moments with loved ones. I'm happy that I'm fit and healthy enough that I get to do that. I'm grateful for the moments that I get to spend with my family, because I personally, I live 6,500 kilometers away from home, right? I don't know how many more of those memories I will have. So I try to be a lot in the moment. And by being a lot in the moment, I think I'm sacrificing that 10%. The 10% that I would want to put towards my goals. However, as I said in the beginning already, I'm not even mad about it. I do sometimes get frustrated, 100%. I I sometimes struggle with the fact that I don't get as much done as I would want to, or that I don't get as much done as I would want to in Dubai. But then when I sit here and I have those deep talks with my parents, or we're having our fries in the beautiful sunlight outside on a terrace overlooking a green garden, I don't really care. I'm still fit, I'm still healthy. I still feel very good, and I still focus on what I can do. Also something I will get to in a second. But those moments are irreplaceable. When I was younger, I wouldn't care so much about these moments. I would always look for a distraction. I would always either go to work or I would go to a rave. Still go to raves. I'm not going to take it away from me, but that's part of my 20%. Um, I would drink a lot. As I said, I would work all the time. I wouldn't be home very much, always for distractions. But as I grew a little bit older, still only 25, but still, I started to value that time a lot more. Also with my grandmother, with my aunt, with my cousin. I really started to value that time more. I've been on my phone a lot less than I usually am. I've been so much more in the moment, and I'm so grateful to be able to take that time to also spend it with my loved ones. Because before you know, it's gone. Before you know, you don't have time anymore. So as I said, life also wants to be lived. And now that it's 70-30 here in Belgium, I'm not even mad about it. Might even be 85-15 when I get back to Dubai. It's all about going with that flow. And it's all about finding those solutions that work for you, right? It's not about doing everything to the extreme. It's also about enjoyment. It's also about feeling yourself. It's about loving the time. It's really about bringing memories to the time spent rather than to bring extra time to your life and not fill it with any memories. So yeah, that's actually what I quickly wanted to talk about. There was also something else I just mentioned, and I would get back to that. Oh yeah, the focusing on things that you can do instead of what you can, because I notice that a lot, especially with my parents, um, basically with everybody around. It's like, oh my god, I cannot do this and I cannot do that. I cannot go to the gym. I cannot eat healthy every day. Oh my god, I don't want to drink 3 liters of water every day. I cannot go for a 10-kilometer walk, or I cannot go ski. You name it. Excuses, excuses, excuses. They're thrown on you like a rocket, and it's insane. And that's something that really pisses me off. Sorry for my language, but it is what it is. Um, so I do notice here a lot that people always tend to focus on what they cannot do. I cannot do this, I cannot do that, I cannot do this, I cannot do that. And I personally think that's a very pessimistic approach to life. And that's one that I do not want to live. I've been talking to my dad about this a lot, and to my mom as well, about the fact that I'm grateful for everything. I'm grateful to be able to get up in the morning. I'm grateful to be able to sit on the terrace, and even if the dog drools on me, I don't mind. Because I'm grateful that he's still there. I'm grateful that I get to spend time with Charlie. Um, I'm grateful for the rain every now and then, because without that, the plants and the grass and the trees wouldn't look as pretty as they do now. I'm grateful for my protein shake in the morning. Make the gains look good. Helps me lose some fat. I'm just grateful for everything. And I personally think that's also a lot more of an optimistic way to approach life. So, as I also always tell my clients, let's focus on what we can do instead of what we can't. If you cannot go for a 10-kilometer walk, go for a 3 to 5-kilometer walk. If you cannot do 12,000 steps a day, do 10, do 8, start small. Don't overdo yourself because you will get into a burnout, and it's something we really want to avoid. If you cannot eat 150 grams of protein a day, why don't you try 100 or 120? Baby steps. Climbing up a mountain, you also don't do that in one sprint, do you? If you cannot go to the gym 5 times a week, try to go 3 or 4. If you cannot go to bed, or if you cannot sleep 8 hours, try to sleep 7. Focus on the things that you can do, because with that approach to life, you will be so much more grateful. You'll be so much more happy, and you will also see a lot more positive things. Oh, it's a cloudy day today. Yeah, that's amazing because the sunset will be insane. It could also be like, oh God, the clouds again. They're pissing me off. Or, oh no, it's gray today. Yeah, but what about the sunset? Isn't it going to be magical if it's a little cloudy? Yeah, 70-30. I would say that gratitude practice is definitely one of my 70%. Going to my raves, probably 30, especially here. I always say that it's about finding a balance, and the balance doesn't have to be 50-50. For me, that ideal philosophy is 80-20. 80% of the time, I want to be doing things that help me to my dream life, that help me achieve my goals, that help me achieve my vision. And 20% of the time, I'll just go with the flow. I mean, I go with the flow anyway, but 20% of the time, life just wants to be lived. Life just wants to be enjoyed. And if that is having a drink with a friend, or having fries every now and then, or having a pizza, I don't really care. Choose what it is for you. Choose what makes you happy. Just don't let the 20% go to 40, 50. It's a little bit much, right? Because then we will also lose a big vision. So, yeah. Let's look at that together. Let's have that vision in mind for us. And let's together find out what your 80-20 is. So, what do you think? Reply in the comments if you want to, because I'm really, really curious about what you're going to say. 80% of the time, what are things that help you to your goals? What are things that make you feel good, energized, alive? What are things that you do for you in your future? And what do you do with the 20% of the time? Will you come find me at a rave? Because then we're having a good time, baby. Yeah, I just quickly wanted to talk about this before I'm going to spend the night with my mom. And yeah, let me know what you think about the 70-30 approach or the 80-20 approach. And obviously also about your balance. Again, if you enjoy my content, if you feel that you resonate with my content, please like, comment, share it with friends. If you think somebody really needs to hear this, then definitely share it with friends, because that's exactly how you help me grow for this Grow and Glow podcast. Wow, that was smooth. So yeah, thank you so much again. I thank you for your patience, for your time, for the love that I received from you. I'm still Kiana van Deursen. I'm still your host, and I also will be in the next episode. Thank you so much.